collaborate with others, engineers, architects, designers, and builders, working together in the cloud. You optimize, plan, and fabricate, and then you build. You build the world that you imagine. You realize all of this in Revit. One day you wake up and realize your ambition has become to design a better world. And from that point forward, you see your life's work in a whole new way. You create, you conceptualize, you fashion, you form. You give shape, space, and ideas a life of their own. You design, model, and visualize. And with the cloud, you simulate. You use automation to turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. You communicate, analyze, and share, and you collaborate with others, engineers, architects, designers, and builders, working together in the cloud. You optimize, plan, and fabricate, and then you build. You build the world that you imagine. You realize all of this in Revit. One day you wake up and realize your ambition has become to design a better world. And from that point forward, you see your life's work in a whole new way. You create, you conceptualize, you fashion, you form. You give shape, space, and ideas a life of their own. You design, model, and visualize. And with the cloud, you simulate. You use automation to turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. You communicate, analyze, and share, and you collaborate with others, engineers, architects, designers, and builders, working together in the cloud. You optimize, plan, and fabricate, and then you build. You build the world that you imagine. You realize all of this in Revit. One day you wake up and realize your ambition has become to design a better world. And from that point forward, you see your life's work in a whole new way. You create, you conceptualize, you fashion, you form. You give shape, space, and ideas a life of their own. You design, model, and visualize. And with the cloud, you simulate. You use automation to turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. You communicate, analyze, and share, and you collaborate with others, engineers, architects, designers, and builders, working together in the cloud. You optimize, plan, and fabricate, and then you build. You build the world that you imagine. You realize all of this in Revit. One day you wake up and realize your ambition has become to design a better world. And from that point forward, you see your life's work in a whole new way. You create, you conceptualize, you fashion, you form. You give shape, space, and ideas a life of their own. You design, model, and visualize. And with the cloud, you simulate. You use automation to turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. You communicate, analyze, and share, and you collaborate with others, engineers, architects, designers, and builders, working together in the cloud. You optimize, plan, and fabricate, and then you build. You build the world that you imagine. You realize all of this in Revit. One day you wake up and realize your ambition has become to design a better world. And from that point forward, you see your life's work in a whole new way. You create, you conceptualize, you fashion, you form. You give shape, space, and ideas a life of their own. You design, model, and visualize. And with the cloud, you simulate. You use automation to turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. You communicate, analyze, and share, and you collaborate with others, engineers, architects, designers, and builders, working together in the cloud. You optimize, plan, and fabricate, and then you build. You build the world that you imagine. You realize all of this in Revit. One day you wake up and realize your ambition has become to design a better world. And from that point forward, you see your life's work in a whole new way. You create, you conceptualize, you fashion, you form. You give shape, space, and ideas a life of their own. You design, model, and visualize. And with the cloud, you simulate. You use automation to turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. You communicate, analyze, and share, and you collaborate with others, engineers, architects, designers, and builders, working together in the cloud. You optimize, plan, and fabricate, and then you build. You build the world that you imagine. You realize all of this in Revit.
Hi everyone. Hi everyone. Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Okay. Let's start. Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, thank you for joining our webinar today. I'll be your host for this webinar. My name is Emmeline Kakayuring, Senior Systems Field Consultant of CIM Technologies. Today's session is the first episode on Product Update webinar series. So before I proceed with our agenda this afternoon, first things first, our house rules. This webinar is recorded. The replay of this webinar can be accessed in the official CIM Technologies Inc. YouTube channel within 48 hours only. You are muted by default. In case you have concerns, please use the chat box to type in your message. In case you have questions in the middle of the speaker's presentation, please type it in the chat box so that it will be addressed during the open forum or question and Q&A session. There will be an e-certificate of attendance. It will be automatically generated to those who will participate and complete the survey later. This webinar is scheduled to last 1 hour, including Q&A. I will introduce to you our company first before introducing to you our main speaker for this main topic. Again, please feel free to type your questions in the chat box as there will be an open forum or Q&A later after our discussion. Then before we wrap up, we will flash on the screen the quick survey and give you some final announcement. All right, so before I proceed with the main topic, let me introduce to you first our company. CIM Technologies has been providing technology solutions from software and to hardware for almost 30 years already. More than that, we are also offering trainings, technical support, and other expanded services for AEC and in manufacturing industries. These are the solutions we are offering for 3D, conceptual design, digital design, flash analysis, animation and photorealistic rendering or visualization, quantity takeoff, construction documents, energy model analysis, collaboration among project teams. We also have for 4D solutions, which is project management or scheduling. For 5D is cost planning and estimate. 6D for building performance analysis, and facility management for 7D. In case you know someone or you have requirements for manufacturing solutions, here are offerings: 3D design and simulation, wiring and control system, PCB design, finite element analysis or CFD analysis, 3D printing, CNC programming, design and document management, bill of material management or product cost management, process execution, or service level lifecycle management. Here, we are also offering trusted large format printers and plotters powered by HP and industry and leading fixed and mobile workstation by Dell. If you want to set an appointment for virtual demo in HP large format, just type in our chat box or just email us for us to schedule the virtual demo. Here, in case you have problems with your maintenance side, we can offer to you our IT services, such as maintenance agreement and preventive maintenance for HP plotters and printers, diagnosis and repair, network design layout, network cabling, network configurations, server and workstation, system or network administration services. We also have our service division, Alteon 3D, to provide you an expanded services such as 2D drafting, 3D BIM modeling visualization, class detection, rendering, and as-built service, 3D printing and rapid prototyping, large format scanning, printing and plotting, and product design, and many more. Please visit our site www.alteon3d.com to see the other service we offer. And we have training division, which is the Stanford IT Learning, to provide you the basic and advanced CAD training for students and professionals in the field of architecture, engineering and construction, manufacturing, and power and utilities industries. The good news is that our training are now available online and you can pay through the website as well. So if you want to learn about any BIM tools and the best practices or the latest trends in related to your job, you can learn it from Stanford. I humbly presenting our partners for the solutions and services that we are offering. Feel free to contact us in case you have requirements that you think we can provide for you. So now, without any further ado, let me turn over the screen. Let me turn the screen to the main speaker of this webinar, our Senior Applications Engineer, Engineer Kevin Yalong. Sir Kevin. Okay, I'll stop sharing now.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this session of What's New in Revit 2021. So in Revit 2021, these are the new features and enhancements in our in Autodesk Revit 2021. So we have, it is divided into four topics, which is the platform updates and features, and updates for architecture, structure, and MEP. So let's go first with the platform enhancements. So for platform enhancements, link and unload images and PDFs in project models locally and from the cloud. You can also easily keep this information updated while also not increasing file size or embedding the image or PDF file for security or IP reasons. This feature improves sorting, adds size reporting, adds multi-select for unload, reload, remove operations, adds the ability to convert links to imports, and adds the show button to find a PDF or image in the model. So you can utilize and manage images and PDFs much more easily in Revit 2021 with new linking features. For BIM users who are getting started with Revit, the customized workspace is a user experience improvement that makes multiple discipline tools feel like purposely built. You can now create a user profile to allow Revit to provide a workspace suggestion tailored to your work discipline and job role. This feature takes the first step towards building a customized workspace for Revit users. Revit 2021 enables a better experience for BIM 360 project navigation in the Revit home screen. It is now easier to differentiate between recent files and cloud-hosted models. The list of projects is now searchable, making it easier to find the desired project. The Go to BIM 360 button is a handy shortcut to access the project on BIM 360 directly. And it can help you help your links, and can be easily accessed from the bottom left portion of the screen. So the Revit home experience has been significantly improve in Revit 2021 for projects hosted on BIM 360. While Revit already offers multidisciplinary BIM capabilities for higher quality, coordinated designs, we are now extending Revit's built-in features to better support bridge design in Revit. A new category filter for the infrastructure discipline has been added. Bridge model categories and subcategories and bridge annotation categories have also been added to help manage the display of bridge-related elements. Please take note that these categories have been designed to support the InfraWorks to Revit workflow. So creating new Revit model families based on these categories is not yet supported, especially for the annotation families. Um, uh, Annotation families are supported in this manner. So the US survey foot has also been added as a unit in Revit 2021 to better support infrastructure design in Revit. This enables coordinates to match between Civil 3D and Revit when the survey data being utilized is in US survey fit. In Revit 2021, the stripe rows parameter enables you to display alternating schedule rows in contrasting colors, making it large schedules easier to read, and both colors are user selectable for each schedule view. When you enable the stripe rows parameter for a schedule, you will also have the option to enable show stripe rows on sheets. This parameter will display your selected row colors in sheet views. These settings may be saved in a schedule view template. So this new feature gives users more control over the appearance of schedules in their projects. Dynamo for Revit 2.5 is included in the Revit installation for Revit 2021. Dynamo 2.5 provides a host of new capabilities. For example, Dynamo now finds required packages in the refreshed workspace references viewer and automatically notifies you if any are missing. The viewer lists the package or packages used in your graph along with their version and status. In the package manager UI or user interface, the downvote button has been removed to reduce confusion and promote positive reinforcement. The filter icon has been changed to filter by text to improve discoverability. Significant performance improvements have been made, particularly for large graphs that make changes to a Revit model. So these runtimes have been reduced by up to 99.9%. This and many other enhancements will improve computational design workflows in Revit 2021. So also in Revit or in Dynamo, there are 10 new Dynamo Revit nodes have been added to support the most commonly requested conditions for geometry joining, pinning or unpinning, and hosting of Revit elements. These nodes will help users work more productively through Dynamo-driven task automation. So Revit offers users the ability to create view filters that control the visibility or graphic display of elements. Using the Filters tab in the Visibility or Graphics dialog, these filters may be applied to one or more views in a Revit project. A new Enable Filter column in Revit 2021 has been added to that dialog. This gives you the ability to quickly turn on or off the overrides of a view filter without having to remove that filter from the view. So this gives you as users the ability to quickly apply or remove view filter graphic overrides from elements in a view. So in previous versions of Revit, tags assigned to components did not rotate with those elements. So they maintained their original orientation. In Revit 2021, you may now control this behavior. Simply select the tag, open it for editing by clicking the Edit Family button, and enable the Rotate with Component parameter in the Properties palette. This will, this will enable the tag to rotate with the component to which it is assigned on your documentation. So this can help you improve to tag, or you can create more accurate and readable annotations in Revit 2021. Void cutability can be applied to family geometry by using type and instance parameters. Voids are often used in Revit families, and some cases can be the defining difference between family types. This enhancement will be particularly useful for countertop families that utilize different fixture inserts, or for window families that utilizes sills with and without drip edges. So this feature provides users with better control over void functionality in Revit families. So Revit's out-of-the-box hard-coded line styles are now consistently named and sorted. To lighten the Revit installer, most sample content is no longer installed with Revit. A new Get Autodesk Content button has been added to ensure that customers who do use the sample content have quick and easy access to download this information. Also, sun and shadows are more accurate in extreme locations. For example, in situations where the sun doesn't set, such as near the north and south poles. So this feature addresses many small enhancements intended to address or for customer requests and improve productivity. So before I'll proceed with the architecture enhancements, let me pop up this survey question here. Okay, so let me know the audience for today's webinar. So what are your profession, or what profession are you in? Are you an architect, structural engineer, MEPF engineer, or a project engineer? Okay, so I see a lot of structural engineer here, mostly 19%. Okay. So let me end that poll here. Okay. And then the next survey here is what are the or what products are you currently using? Are you using the Autodesk AC collection, or just a standalone Revit software, or mostly CAD softwares or other softwares as well? Okay, so I see a lot of that uses Autodesk AC collection. Okay, so they are around at 19% also. Okay. Okay, so let me end that poll. So let's go back to the presentation. So now we have the architecture enhancements. First is we are proud to give to you the generative design in Revit. Generative design is a design exploration process to quickly generate and evaluate high-performing design alternatives. Until now, many generative design tools have been hard to use because they required our customers to know how to code, understand special terminology, or know how genetic algorithms work. Now you can use generative design directly in Revit to quickly generate design alternatives based on your goals, constraints, and inputs. Generative design provides a set of sample study types to demonstrate how this tool can be used to generate outcomes for design challenges. You can easily run one of the predefined studies or recipes with generative design in Revit. So such as workspace layout or massing. So let's suppose you want to determine the best arrangement of desks in a large room. Your goals are to maximize the number of desks while also maximizing views to the outside. You may also want to minimize the distance from each desk to the nearest exit. So after generative design has completed a study, you can explore the design alternatives to find the solution that best meets your needs. So for each outcome, the parallel coordinates chart highlights its input and output values. You can also use this chart to filter and prioritize outcomes by simply clicking and dragging over one or more of the columns. So another way to review and analyze outcomes is through a scatter plot. So once you've selected the outcome you'd like to implement in your model, simply select that outcome and click Create Revit Elements. And then the design change will appear in the model immediately. So there are also two other studies or recipes that are ready to be used. One is Maximize Window Views. You may use this sample study type with generative design to generate alternatives to determine the best position in room for optimal views to the outside. Next is the three-box massing. This is to for you to generate alternatives for three adjacent buildings as simple masses to maximize floor area while minimizing surface area. So you can start using generative design in Revit today to quickly evaluate design options and save time with automation. You can also work directly in better, easier, and faster live render views in Revit 2021. This feature replaces realistic views available in past releases. Experience over 10 times faster performance and automatic exposure control. The new mode is available in all types of views and allows direct editing of the model with rendered materials and lights. Walk through a finished model, design and modify your building with realistic lighting and materials while you work, or place views with materials and lighting into sheets. So please take note that,
Wala kami makitang screen.
sorry,
Hindi ata siya naka-share.
let me share my screen again.
Thank you.
Okay, you see my screen now?
Yes. Thank
Okay,
you.
so to continue, the graphics card, please take note that a graphics card with at least 4 gig of memory is recommended for this new feature to work. Okay, so in Revit 2021, you may apply a slant or tilt to walls during their creation by selecting slanted from the new cross-section instance parameter in the constraints section of the properties palette. You can also change an existing vertical wall to a slanted wall. When the slanted option is selected, the angle from vertical parameter is enabled. Use this parameter to select the inclination of the wall, which can range between a plus 90 and minus 90 degrees. You may also use the editing grips at the top of a wall to adjust its height or angle. So windows and doors hosted in slanted walls will display an additional orientation instance parameter in the constraints section of the properties palette. You may elect to have the hosted element match the angle of the wall by changing this parameter from vertical to slanted. So you may also create slanted walls from walls that are curved or elliptical in plan. Autodesk Inventor 2021 extends any CAD functionality for Autodesk Revit to help manufacture in the construction industry collaborate and coordinate on BIM projects. So there is improved interoperability between Revit and Inventor by maintaining an associative link to inserted Revit data as work. So the Revit project can be accessed from a local file or coordinated via the cloud using the Autodesk BIM 360 Common Data Environment. So changes during the design process are inevitable. So when the Revit model changes, you'll need to update the Inventor model to suit. Because the Revit model is referenced into your Inventor assembly, any changes to the Revit project will also update inside the Inventor assembly. And this without file translation. So this improve interoperability between Revit and Inventor can provide a better support for design to fabrication workflows. So next we have the structural enhancements in Revit 2021. So reinforcing bar assemblies known as standees are commonly or normally required for the support of tap mats of reinforcing bars in thick concrete members, such as footings and slabs. So these standees have a 3D rebar shape. So in Revit 2021, you can define such 3D rebar shapes by rotating the hooks at the ends of the bar and directly inputting the hook lengths of or for each rebar instance. So hook rotation is considered when defining a rebar shape if included in the rebar shape definition. So rebar numbering considers hook rotation along with the other segment length parameters. So you can also use rebar shapes with 3D hook inside path reinforcement to distribute rebar standees in your structural project. So rebar couplers are used in reinforced concrete structures to replace normal rebar lap joints. So in Revit 2021, you can now use rebar couplers to connect tangent arc-shaped bars in circular concrete structures such as curved walls, concrete tanks, tunnels, and um, the likes. So this new feature helps structural engineers and detailers create highly detailed reinforcement models and documentation. Again, in Revit 2021, you can add an end treatment to the end of any rebar without the need for a rebar coupler. Simply select any rebar and change the end treatment at start or end to any of the values defined in the project. You can also view fabric sheets and custom fabric sheets in 3D views as solid or unobscured. This feature can be enabled in the same way as for other types of reinforcement. So this is by changing the visibility status, which is available in the properties palette when a fabric sheet is selected. The solid or unobscured representation is enabled by instance. So the band between steel and concrete is essential to ensure that they perform as a single entity in a loaded structure. To achieve the full band, The surfaces need to be in contact for a calculated length called the anchorage length. So in Revit 2021, you can easily specify the hook lengths for each rebar in the project without the need to duplicate the hook type, and change the length for that type. This is accomplished by selecting the override hook lengths option in the properties palette and inputting the new length in the respective rebar shape parameter field. The structural precast extension formerly offered for Revit is now integrated into Revit 2021 with a dedicated precast ribbon tab located next to the Still tab. These precast features are included in the Revit installation, simplifying their deployment and making them available in all languages supported by Revit. In addition, the on or off button in the previous release has been replaced with enable or disable precast updates. This change helps prevent the automatic recreation of precast elements due to changes performed on the precast assembly. The integration of this functionality into Revit 2021 supports multiple stages of the precast workflow, offering advanced tools to automate the process of generating precast assemblies, shop drawings, and files for computer-aided manufacturing or CAM machines. The Dynamo nodes dedicated to placing steel connections in Revit are provided with the Revit installation as part of Dynamo for Revit. This means that the functionality previously provided by the Autodesk Steel Connections package, including nodes and sample scripts, will now be available in Dynamo for Revit without additional setup, simplifying deployment and offering an integrated experience within Dynamo. These nodes give you the functionality to drive steel connections by structural analysis results, tightening the integration between analysis and detailing phases, and helping you make better design decisions when adding steel connections to the structural model. So the structural results manager and results exploration tools are now integrated into Revit 2021 installation. These tools enable structural engineers to explore and document analysis results to gain insight into a structure's behavior. You can make appropriate design decisions and document them properly. So depending on the type of analysis performed, results are presented graphically as maps and diagrams on elements of the analytical model used for analysis. So the integration of the structural analysis results exploration features in Revit 2021 enhances the connection between design and analysis for structural engineers. Steel detailing capabilities have been added or extended to allow more flexibility when modifying steel elements or connections. To change the shape of a plate, simply select it, press the Edit Boundary button, and stretch one of the plate's edges to the desired location. To edit simple and complex cuts easily, simply select the desired cut using the Tab key, press the Edit Boundary button, and choose from several options to change the shape of the cut or add, for example, a radius to one of its corners. The size of circular openings can now be adjusted in a similar fashion. You can just select the opening, press the Edit Boundary button, and enter the desired diameter value. Okay, so these improvements offer you more flexibility and efficiency when detailing steel in Revit. Stiffeners are an important component of structural steel design. So they are used to strengthen a steel beam or a column. A dedicated tool for creating stiffeners is now available in the Structural Connection Settings dialog box. Once loaded into your project, it is available from the Type selector. You can then insert stiffeners on the selected steel member by specifying the insertion point. Like all Revit families, stiffeners have types. This means that you can create a library of stiffeners. Stiffeners can be moved or copied to a different location along the same beam or to a different one. Revit users were previously limited to inserting steel components in 3D views and 2D horizontal views, such as levels and floor plans. So in Revit 2021, this limitation has been removed. Revit users may now place steel components in 2D vertical views. For example, a user may insert a steel plate in an elevation view or vertical section view. This new feature gives you the freedom to model steel components in any view, wherever you prefer to see, create, and um, adjust them. When creating engineering drawings for steel connections, you may wish to create dimensions to the center of a plate for more accuracy. In addition to creating edge distances for a steel plate, it is now possible to snap to its midpoint and create dimensions indicating the distance from the plate edge to its center. This is both vertically and horizontally. For stiffeners and connection plates along a beam, improvements have been made that enable you to dimension them from center to center with a dimension to the center line of the beam web. Because these dimensions are parametric, if you move these stiffeners, the values of the dimensions between them will update automatically. Okay, so next are the enhancements or updates for MEP discipline. For electrical circuit naming, in electrical settings, there is a new node called circuit naming. The circuit naming schemes created here show up as options in the circuit naming parameter list on each panel. You can select a scheme for the project that is used for all panels that have their circuit naming value set to by project setting. So in order to make Revit more adaptable to a global market, um, we are providing a flexible method to define circuit naming schemes. For single-phase LN panel boards, Revit now supports showing a single bus column in the panel schedule templates that only show a single phase. Loads on a single phase panel will all be connected to a single phase. So with this enhancement, when selecting a distribution system to assign it to a panel, Revit will check the voltage and poles assigned to the connector and filter out any distribution systems that don't match. All panel loads are on a single phase, and the phase total loads tabulate accordingly. The panel schedule will show the loads on the phase defined by what phase it is connected to on the panel it is fed from. Schedule that use the hide column for third phase option will now hide columns for all unused phases and will be applied automatically during update. The option text has been also been revised to reflect this new behavior. After upgrading, if a model already has circuits connected to mismatched panels, the circuit connection will be kept. Then, if a user continues to assign circuits after upgrade, a warning displays to let the user know of a mismatch scenario. Switchboards no longer report a value for a max number one pole breaker parameter in schedules and view filters, as the max number of circuits parameter is used instead. Also, there is a new family parameter in electrical equipment part types for the switchboard. So switchboard schedules now show the quantity of circuits rather than the number of connected poles. Prior to this enhancement, one and two pole circuits are always connected to phase A when connected to a switchboard, making it not possible for a user to specify what phase a load is connected to. In Revit 2021, a new switch phases command has been added when selecting a circuit in a switchboard panel schedule view. This toggles the phase to which the circuit is connected. Loads on the switchboard bus update accordingly. So additionally, it is now possible to modify parameters of spares and spaces, such as the poles and frame size. The project browser now lists panel schedules under the sheets on which they are placed, improving consistency with other features of the project browser and helping users more quickly navigate their project to get to the information they need. They are also searchable within the project browser. So part of the 2020.2 release, um, making it possible to modify properties of circuits and panels in the properties palette from within the panel schedule view, making it easier and quicker to make modifications to these components without having to switch views. So using work sharing display to compare the legacy and new behavior, previously all indirectly modified elements are borrowed. So now it's only the directly modified elements that are borrowed. To resolve work sharing issues, that the auto heal behavior for inline elements was disabled. Understanding of the trade-off for having the undesirable behaviors removed versus being in control of exactly what happens is beneficial. So these improvements will enable MEP professionals to collaborate more effectively when using Revit work sharing. The Revit connector for PNID creates a connection between Revit and the Plant 3D PNID schematic diagrams to enable pipe modeling in Revit from BIM 360 Docs. This replaces functionality previously available on BIM 360T. Once Revit has connected to the Plant 3D collaboration project, the PNID diagram is available in Revit, together with a list of components contained within the PNID diagram. So each PNID part is color-coded to ensure correct usage and positioning. So PNID modeler for Revit is now hosted on BIM 360 Docs. Revit 2021 now supports cubic feet per hour, cubic feet per minute, and liters per hour as units for pipe flow. This addresses a popular customer request. So popular pipe flow units have been added to better serve mechanical designers. The import and export features are now located in standardized menu locations. And output tools have been relocated from the add-ins tab to the contextual menu that appears upon selection of MEP fabrication parts. MEP fabrication export is also located under the File tab and then Export menu. The former Revit extension for Revit fabrication has been fully integrated into Revit 2021. The systems analysis feature in Revit, which extends on the capabilities of Autodesk Insight that leverages location and climate data to perform whole building performance analysis, addresses the challenge by giving HVAC designers the ability to use architectural models in Revit at any level of completeness. With systems analysis, designers can quickly sketch their layouts, define zones, and even attach a preliminary equipment that can be further refined as more detailed in is added. And once systems and the zones they serve are defined, analytical models can be generated. Designers can then use Revit views and schedules to validate that their systems are properly defined and connected before the analysis begins by exploring their analytical systems in the system browser. So powered by Energy Plus, the system analysis tool comes with two default analysis routines, one for annual building performance and one for calculating loads and sizing. But custom routines can be created as well. And when the analysis is completed, designers can explore their reports in graphical and tabular form. So with Revit systems analysis, you can enjoy integrated HVAC analysis and modeling and better building design and performance. So these now are the new features and enhancements in Revit 2021. So that ends my slide. I will now open the floor for the question and answer. Okay, so if you have some questions, you can now type your question in the Q&A chat box. Okay, so I have a question here though. For generative design in Revit, can I use it by in any Revit softwares? Okay. So generative design in Revit is, as I have presented before, it is available in Revit 2021, and it is available for all users with a subscription to AEC collection. So this is exclusive for the AEC collection subscription. Okay. And other question here is, can I get a trial of generative design in Revit? So direct access to generative design in Revit from the Manage tab is not available as a trial, but you can experiment with generative design tools in Dynamo for Revit. Okay, so I see some question here. I have a Revit 2017. So do I need to uninstall it for the new version or just update it for new version, just like Google Play Store? If you have an active subscription of maybe a Revit or an AC collection, you can download the Revit 2021 version and you can install it in, and you can also activate it by using the your credentials. But for licensing in Revit, you can only use one version of Revit at a time. Okay. So there's another question here. Do you have free or discounted versions for the university or academe? Do you have something like an organization or academy, or you have users group for this? For this, sir, I will be our salesperson will contact you regarding this one. Okay. So, any questions? Okay. So, other question here. Can I use generative design in the previous versions of Revit? In Revit 2019 and 2020, there's this called the Project Refinery. It is a beta version of the generative design in Revit 2021. So Project Refinery is the name of the beta project that is now being released as generative design in Revit. So this features the in Dynamo for Revit. Okay. Another question here is Revit one package which includes architecture, structure, and MEP? Yes, sir. You can, if you purchase Revit or AEC collection, Revit is all of these disciplines are there. It's just a matter of tagging the commands used for each discipline. As I have discussed before, you can also use the profiling in Revit 2021 for a better or an ease of use of in Revit software. Other questions here. Do you have a mobile versions for Revit? Sad to say, sir, there is no versions for mobile for Revit. Though AutoCAD has a mobile version, which is the, if I'm not mistaken, the AutoCAD 360. Okay, it has also a mobile version where you can, for free version of the mobile application for CAD, you can view, measure the CAD drawings. If you have a purchased version of the AutoCAD, you can also edit in your mobile devices. Okay. Okay, so I think that's all the question I have. I'll be turning over the screen to Emma for some reminders. Emma?
Okay. Okay. All right. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Engineer Kevin, for your insightful topic. Can you hear me, guys? Mm-hmm. Okay. 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 Can you hear me? Okay. So thank you very much, Sir Kevin, for your insightful topic, and thank you for to our dear participants for your questions. Before we end this session, we would like to know your thoughts about the webinar by answering our poll question on the screen. We'll be sending you the e-certificate of attendance once you completed the survey. Okay, here is our survey question. Wait. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Sorry. Mm, wait. Let me post the survey form. Mm-hmm. It's not answered. Okay. Which software are more interested? Next. What are the tools inside the Autodesk AEC collection might be useful to you? Sure. Are you interested to enroll for an online training to learn Autodesk software? How satisfied were you with the webinar? How relevant is the topic to you? How do you rate the speaker? Any topics would you like to learn in the future? Okay, if you're done, you can submit. Okay, now, thank you for participating in our survey. Your responses are valuable to us, and we will definitely consider your feedback for our future improvement. Let me also share with you our upcoming webinars. You might want to invite your colleagues or boss to join our webinar. Uh, can you see my screen? Wait lang, I'll share my slide again. Let me share. Here. Okay. On the screen is our product update webinar series. We are sending you this registration link in the chat box. You may save the link and register later, or feel free to share the link to your friends and colleagues. Okay, we're done with the What's New in Revit 2021. Our next is What's New in Civil 3D and InfraWorks on December 10, 2020. What's New in AutoCAD 2021 on January 14, 2021. So, okay. We are also inviting you to join our website series on data-driven design flow. Feel free to register and share the link as well as your colleagues. So here are conceptual design workflow on November 25, bridge design workflow December 10, and January 21. I said it's generative design workflow. Okay, all right. So I think we come to the end of this webinar. Once again, thank you, and we look forward to seeing you online to our next webinar session. Take care, guys.